Hi, how are you? This is Sandstorm here, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4. As you may know, a new DLC, Battle for the Bosporus, just got released for Hearts of Iron 4, and with it comes an Ottoman restoration route for Turkey. This completes the Central Powers big trio, and I thought the best way to show each trio off is to do a three-part series with a few episodes in each part about the three countries. Today's episode is the beginning of the first part, which will be showcasing the German Empire, which we'll have to revive by starting as the German Reich. So let's begin a new single-player game, 1936 scenario. As Germany, we will be playing with all DLC up to Battle for the Bosporus, and with no mods enabled. So let's do our usual start. Historical AI focus is turned on, Iron Man off, and we're on regular difficulty. The German Empire tree was added in the Waken the Tiger DLC and is an alternative to the historic political branch, which starts with Rhineland, and our ahistoric branch starts with oppose him, so we're going to have to do that. And we've got 4 research slots available. Let's go with the 1918 support equipment. We'll go with paratroopers 1, an artillery upgrade, and we'll switch over to superior firepower land doctrine. For civilian factories, we're going to build in the Rhineland and other 80% infrastructure zones. Military factories, we're going to assign 25 to infantry equipment and delete all the other lines here because we need to focus producing as much infantry equipment so we can get as many troops out as possible. And we're also going to focus on the naval meta, which is at the moment spamming out submarines, so we'll set that to infinite. Looks like we're good on resources. And let's assign all of our divisions into one army. Put them on this tile right here. Yes, this one right here. So that we can quickly cut across as a civil war will begin when we do our first national focus, so that we can cut off the enemy in the south here. Let's also move all of our airplanes into our side of the country that we will take. And let's go into Navy and create a death stack out of all of our ships. And we can also go ahead and set our submarines to deploy straight into the death stack, so we don't have to assign them every time we get new submarine production. And we'll also go over and create an intelligence agency. We'll be calling it the Sands Intelligence Agency. And I think I like this symbol here today. We'll go with that one. And in 30 days, we'll have an intelligence agency. But for now, I think it's time to get up to 5 speed and get going. Our agency has just been created. Let's immediately go get localized training centers because we might be able to recruit an operative somewhere else in Europe as our first operative. We have enough political power to justify a war goal on Czechoslovakia. We've got our first intelligence upgrade and operative. Let's go get the cryptology department as our next upgrade, and we'll recruit from the Soviet Union. Now we have a Soviet operative, so we'll begin building an intel network in the Soviet Union. So we've completed our first national focus. Let's go over and get army innovations. And our old leadership is being challenged by Wehrmacht officers. So let's purge the scum from our lands. And that is the event for the Civil War. You may notice we get 24 brand new divisions, which will pop in an army group. Or sorry, just a regular army by shift-clicking that unassigned divisions button at the top. And we'll put them in an army group with our strike force of divisions that have remained on our side. So let's delete their orders, create a front line for them right here, and spearhead over the Czechoslovakian border. Let's see who stayed loyal to us. We have this guy who's good for defense, and this guy who's good for offense. Fantastic. Let's get our planes down here and set them all out to do all missions possible. We've got a little bit of political power. I think it might be worth trying to get an infantry expert since we have mostly an infantry army. But let's just begin. I'll do a little bit of micromanagement here. Alright, we've created a stable encirclement over here, cutting off the south from the north, so let's slowly encroach upon the divisions they have stationed in this area. We've got another upgrade for our agency, although we can't get any more upgrades since we are out of civilian factories, because about half of them have gone to the enemy. Just cleaned up in the south, and the front line in the north has not moved very much. That's amazing. Let's see if we can get some smaller encirclements up here by the sea and just whittle down their troop numbers so it's easier for us to make a grand push. We also have the ability to decrypt a cipher, so let's decrypt the Soviet cipher. We've completed the National Focus Army innovations. Let's go for a treaty with the USSR. Looks like we're running out of fuel and our planes aren't doing much anyway, so I'm going to hold all the aircraft and hope that our tanks can get fuel. I think there is a way. Yes, there is. Down here, fuel prioritization. We're going to put air on low and army on high. There we are. Perfect. I'm also going to begin training a few divisions. Let's see how many can we train. I think 11 should do fine for our purposes. Let's also sort out our priorities. We'll put garrisons and divisions on high, operations on medium, upgrades on low, and reinforcements on medium. I'm going to try for another encirclement in the south. We're also going to try and encircle Berlin so that we can regulate when they capitulate, as this has a lot to do with our gambit. We've completed the treaty with the USSR. Let's go for the 4-year plan. And the Soviets accept, which means we can go for medium tanks 2 years ahead of time. Fantastic. We've completed the encirclement around Berlin, and we've encircled most of their forces here in the south as well. This encirclement of Berlin is going to achieve a lot of the same things as when we encircled London in a previous episode, Reforming the Roman Empire. I recommend you go check it out right now if you have not seen it already. But we encircled London for many strategic reasons. We've cleaned up the final encirclement here. Let's deploy some of our divisions. We can't deploy there, but we can deploy in Hanover. Let's deploy 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set them to a new army. And tell them to just hold around Berlin. Now the rest of our divisions, we'll delete all orders from. Tell them to hold and create an army group order to clean up the rest of the resistance. Alright, let's begin the attack. We've completed the National Focus 4-year plan. Let's go and get naval rearmament. Also, we've cleaned up all of the resistance. They have 0 divisions left. They've taken almost 400,000 casualties, and we've only taken about 71,000. That is impressive. Alright, now that we've finished up with the Civil War, let's begin assigning our armies to our next war. We're going to send our main 24 stack over to the Czechoslovakian border. And we're going to add a spearhead so that they keep attacking as quick as possible, making the Czechs take a bunch of casualties. We're going to split our 14 army into 2 parts. We're going to take 5 infantry and 1 mountaineer. Switch them to paratroopers. And make a new army. We could even make a new army group, as this is going to be the invasion of France. Let's take our last field marshal and see if we can take Kurt Student, because he has his out of supply commando trait, which is fantastic for paratroopers. Let's move our pair-drop planes down, our transport planes down to Western Germany. Set our paratroopers on a fallback there, and 8 divisions is just enough to hold each tile along the border with France. Our justification on Czechoslovakia is complete, and I forgot to mention this, but since Czechoslovakia is guaranteed by both France and Romania, we will be at war with both of those nations. That is okay because we prepared for that. Let's just wait a little bit for our troops to reorganize and get entrenched. Some of them are still moving around. Let's have them railroad. Perfect. We've got a few unassigned divisions. It looks like we're deploying here. Let's just deploy them all. And let's only train 5. We are a little bit out of equipment. 5 should be fine for now. Let's assign these 11 into a new army here real quick. And let's set some orders for our paratroopers. Alright, all of our orders are set. Let's begin war with Czechoslovakia. And as soon as we unpause, everyone else should join the war. Czechoslovakia has joined the Axis, and they've called Romania and France as our enemy. So, since they are not a major in the Axis, once we take Berlin, then we will be able to get Czechoslovakia. But a peace deal does not occur when you win the Civil War because it's a civil war and you just automatically get the land. So if we did that right now, it would not work because we just get a white peace with them. But for some strange reason, if we merge it exactly with the war with France, we get a peace deal between France, who's not in the Axis, and Czechoslovakia, who is in the Axis. And we also get to retake the other half of our country. And there we go, France has capitulated. Since France joined the war on the 28th, we need to make sure that we enter Berlin so that our German enemy capitulates on the 3rd at midnight, or I guess at midnight on the 4th, because that's when all the peace conferences take place. But if we do that, then the 2 peace conferences should stitch themselves together, allowing us to get both Czechoslovakia and France, and we've taken Berlin. Would you look at that? We got both of them in the peace conference, even though they weren't in the same faction. So what we're going to do is take all the French states here. We're going to untake Corsica. We're going to puppet France here to retain their fleet. Can be quite handy in naval combat. And now we're going to take all states from Czechoslovakia. Perfect. There we go. We took 93 states. We've won our civil war and we're almost twofold larger. So what we need to do is, well, this army is going to get deleted in an event soon. So let's unassign everyone from here. And let's combine the rest of our armies here. We have a 5, an 8, and an 11. Combine these two. And combine these two. Perfect. Now we have a 24 stack, which should be enough for what we need to do. Let's assign ourselves to the Romanian border, because if you do remember, we are at war with Romania. Although my diplomacy map is a bit glitched out. I am selected on Romania right now, which is why we're red. And we'll set our paratroopers up for our next gambit, which is going to be a huge encirclement. We're going to be going from this airport here. It'd be nice to have some air support. Let's bring the rest of our air force into the Czechoslovakian region. And now, let's set our paratroopers all to go there. Let's railroad there. Let's railroad our other army as well. There we are. They're already doing it themselves. Civil War ends, and I think we should hang them. Get extra stability and less fascism. Both of them will delete the templates. Our templates are gone, sadly. They were the backbone of our army. It's sad to see them go. Actually, let's hold right here. Create a fallback line in these 2 cities. It's easier to hold 2 tiles here than it is to hold 3. And then they'll be stuck holding 3. And we'll be able to pair drop behind them, since they'll have their whole army here. It's only 2 tiles we need to hold with a pair drop. And we've completed our national focus naval rearmament. Let's go with autarky. And we can modify our government. That might be handy. Yes, that might come in very handy. We can go to scraping the barrel if we want. Well, if we had the political power. But I think it might be prudent for us to go with army offense. Let's get the rest of our divisions into position. And these 2 armies are the same color. So let me change this here. Ooh, that looks neat. Alright, change it to that. Change their color to white. Very nice. Railroad into position. We're not railroading. Well, that's okay. We're holding the line anyway. Their whole army is here, though. Let's just wait a few days to make sure it is all here. And our aircraft are out. Fantastic. They're wasting on our lines, which means their organization will be very low. And the question of Yugoslavia, let's ignore them for now. At this point as well, to speed things along, I think we should begin justification on British Malaya. Let's do a pair drop into these 2 tiles right here. We have full air support. We are ready to initiate the pair drop. Let's do it. First one's gone. Second one's gone. Now you might be thinking these paratroopers are going to be horribly out of supply. But Poland wants to create a faction. So let's create a faction with Poland. Call it the new Central Powers. There we are. Fantastic. Because we are the German Empire. Let's send a few divisions to go hold the line there as well. Fallback line right there. Dawn of the new Central Powers. Let's have them railroading. And we might even be able to sneak in taking this victory point. That'd be fantastic. Look at that. They don't have enough organization to actually attack our small paratrooper divisions. So what we are able to do now is attack them. And they have no supply, so they just kind of whittle away. Eventually we'll break through all of their divisions. Probably like 30 divisions got encircled here, which is going to be a huge bonus. Now let's reassign our front, merge our armies back together. We didn't lose a single division in all of that. Not along the Polish border. They are our ally, but we don't need to call them in. We can take all the land for ourselves. Let's set our attack line here, make sure we're on aggressive, and let's go. Once we capture an airport, we can move our planes in. But for now, we'll just reassign us to the Northern Balkans. Look at that. Romania's about to capitulate. They have 1 to 2 divisions. Oh my goodness. What a horrible fate. And there they go. Romania has capitulated. Curiously enough, Romania, even though they're democratic, doesn't join the Allies, or the Axis for that matter, but you can just kind of get their land for free, as long as you do it this way during the Civil War. Now our next target, as you may have already concluded, is going to be the United Kingdom, because justifying on their puppet gets us a war goal on them, basically for less world tension. And since the United Kingdom has a specialized puppet system, where 4 of their puppets start as dominions, we're going to have to take out their dominions as well, or at least fight them because they're not majors. So we're going to have to detach 4 paratroopers, put them in a new army, new commander, and let's set them back to infantry. Perfect. Now each one is going to get a naval invasion to each of the 4 dominions. So 1 into Canada. That little island there, a lot of people don't know about because it's so small and you can hardly see it. But France owns that island, and it's integral to taking out Canada. if you've already taken over France, because I don't know, the next closest spot that France owns is probably down here in the Caribbean somewhere. Next invasion is going to go from Central Africa into this spot here in South Africa. It's important that you don't land in ports because they'll probably be garrisoned and they won't take enough casualties if you just attack them in a port for them to actually get a % of war score. And our last two over here in Oceania, Australia and New Zealand. And now let's go find our submarines. There they are, 10 submarines. They're already in a new fleet. Let's divide this into 3 parts here. Press D to divide, then select another one, and D to divide it as well. And then get these 3. Last 3. Set first one on a strike force here to Newfoundland Sea. Select and manually move it to that island there. Next one, strike force Gulf of Guinea and Cape of Africa. Select, manually move it there. The final one is going to be Coral Sea, Tasman Sea, Solomon Sea, and move them to New Caledonia. Perfect, we're all set. Our naval invasions will be going shortly. Now let's set our transport planes back over to Western Europe. We're going to be cheesing the naval invasion since we don't have enough of a navy to combat the UK. We're just going to be doing a paradrop. If you can't already tell, I do love the paradrop in Hearts of Iron 4. It is fantastic for exploding, and I love exploding this game. Let's paradrop into Portsmouth. It's usually undefended in the early stages like 1936, 1937. When it gets to 1938, most ports become guarded. Just beware. And we'll hit a fallback line for our main infantry force to get into our paradrop naval invasion and sweep through the United Kingdom. Now we have enough factories that we can continue doing upgrades. So let's get these pills over here. And I think our next modification is going to be the Elusive Gentleman, who we will be able to get soon. Give us an extra operative slot and less agency upgrade time, which is fantastic if you're running a big spy agency. And we've completed autarky. We can start doing German Empire focuses, but you have to be at peace to do the first one. Let me check how long our justification is. Yeah, we've got plenty of time. Let's start our first alternative history focus to secure the new state. We've got enough political power to hire the aforementioned Elusive Gentleman, so let's do that. And we will get 3 operatives, which is enough to start the collaboration governments once we get 5 upgrades. This is our 3rd upgrade here. Let's do interrogation techniques for our 4th upgrade. Just doing a check-in on our ships. It looks like all the zones are green. Anarchist uprising in the Spanish Civil War. Aside from our 3 separated stacks here, I'm going to get the death stack back. Disband these areas here. Merge and put them back in this 47 stack here. Once we annex France, who is our puppet, and eventually United Kingdom, who we will make our puppet, we will have a much larger fleet that can basically not ever be stopped. We've completed interrogation techniques. Let's go for the radio interception group, which is going to be our 5th and final upgrade that we need to get our last operative. And here's our 2nd operative is ready. Let's see if we can recruit. Yes, we can recruit in the Soviet Union again. Fantastic. And we got a brand new operative. We've got 5 divisions ready. Where can we use these? Probably be handy in the invasion of the British Isles. So let's assign a general and move them over to this port. We don't have much equipment anymore, so I think it's time we stop training. We've got radio interception group. I don't know if there's any others worth doing right now. We can always pick up doing more of these later, but right now we just got the extra operative, and that's all we need. And actually, if we become spy master, we could probably get a 4th operative, because Poland is a country in our faction who would allow us to have an operative. But that's not going to be necessary. I think we need to hire someone after we do this focus. Let's see. Secure the new state has been completed. And look at that. We can revive the Kaiserreich. Our justification of conquering Singapore, or basically the United Kingdom, is complete. We've got our next operative available. I don't think we can recruit again so quickly. No, we cannot. But we can get... Look at this guy. He does everything. Alright. Let's get him on, and let's begin preparing a collaboration government in the Soviet Union. So we'll use the 2 people who are not building the Intel network. So we're not going to use Wolf. And this is Wolf. So let's just click the other 2 people. Commence when ready and automatically repeat. Let's prepare as many collaboration governments as we can. Assign our last military factories. Perfect. Activate the naval invasion order and the paradrop order, and let's declare war on the United Kingdom. Let's also go declare war on all the dominions so that our naval invasions can launch straight away. Perfect. Declare war on South Africa. Declare war on Australia and on New Zealand. Perfect. Let's wait for our paratroopers to hop over to Portsmouth. And we've secured a beachhead. Let's move in the rest of our army. Delete the paratrooper orders, and let's just create field marshal level orders. You can hold shift and click to get all the armies on one order instead of getting the field marshal order that just puts all the armies on different orders on the same front. That's how it used to be, and I do prefer that a little bit better. This time we'll not be encircling London because we're not fascist and we do not get quick war goal justifications. So let's run straight there and run over to secure another port in Dover. Looks like they're also bombing us here. Let's make sure that's not happening. Put our air force out. I think they'll stop bombing us once they realize we've landed in their home territory. Let's make sure we're on aggressive, and we're off. British Raj has been called in. Have any of the naval invasions made it? No, a few more days. We'll check back then. This whole place is swarming now, so we're going to have to get moving quick. They have realized we're here. Set the tanks out as soon as possible. We have fuel right now, which means we can get moving quickly. Let's make sure we're railroading as well. Oh, we don't have enough organization to railroad. And let's see if we can encircle a division here. That'd be great. Let's send the rest of our tanks up to the Victory Point Rich area, up near Liverpool. And I would imagine, yes, our first naval invasion has landed. There's no one here, so let's just walk this way. I'm sure there's going to be someone here soon enough. And they'll start taking casualties whenever we have an encounter. This naval invasion's about halfway there. This one's almost there. Let's just watch. Oh, interesting. That person just left there. And we're immediately getting attacked in New Zealand. If another division would show up that we could attack, then we could guarantee that they would take casualties. But I think they will take casualties anyway. Oh, look, there's another division. Let's just attack over there, so that when the division arrives, we can attack them. And yes, we're getting an attack over here in Canada as well. How are we looking in Britain? We're looking good. Let's see if we can encircle London, but not for the same reasons as last time. Keep going. Chinese United Front is forming. We've landed in South Africa. I'm going to move this way. I'm going to move to that port and hope that we can take casualties there. In Canada, we've died already. In Australia, we're going to die soon. Same with New Zealand. So let's see. Have they taken casualties? Yes. Dominion of Canada is at 12%. New Zealand's at 1%. Australia will be ramping that up shortly. And South Africa we just landed, so we should be perfectly fine. Fall of London, alright. Let's make sure South Africa shows up soon though. Not sure where they are. Are they really going to let us take a port? Nope, they just showed up. There we are. Africa is not good, but there are no victory points in Africa, so we don't need to worry about that at the moment. Let's clean up this great encirclement over here. Perfect. How are we doing on participation? 1%, 8%, 10%. Well, now it's 9%. And we are attacking down in South Africa. So I'm thinking they're going to take casualties soon. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to take casualties. We are getting invaded from behind in the United Kingdom, so let's set some people. New order, go here, railroad. Make sure we don't lose London. It's really all we need to worry about at this point. We'll probably capitulate them soon enough anyway. We're all the way in Scotland. Xinjiang has joined the Chinese United Front. They have a good 3 divisions here. Let's see if we can encircle them as well. And the United Kingdom has capitulated. We got every dominion in the peace deal. Fantastic. Now let me show you why this is important. Let's take all states from the United Kingdom. Untake these states, because it's nice to give them back to Canada, and untake this state too in the turn here. Now for Canada, Canada is special because they border the United States, who is a major power. So we're just going to take these states so we can attack from here. The United States will garrison this part as well because we're going to puppet Canada. Although not this turn. It's just going to make it that much easier for taking out the United States. Let's take these states here directly. Puppet Canada. End the turn. Give Canada these states. And now let's puppet the United Kingdom so that they get puppeted over here so we can retain their fleet. And the turn. Now we can satellite the British Raj and British Malaya because they're not dominions. They're basically straight down puppets. But the other people do not appear here. So we have to go and fight them to get them in the peace deal. It is a bit annoying, but once you know how to do it, it just becomes habit. Let's directly take everything else. Fantastic. 4 puppets and a lot of new land. There we go. I dare say the German Empire spans every continent on the earth. That is great progress for just the first episode. There are going to be more parts in this episode in the 3-part series that was mentioned at the beginning of this episode. 1 on each of the monarchist powers. This is obviously the first one on the German Empire. Next one is Austria-Hungary. And finally, I will have to devise a strategy to play as the Ottoman Empire. But from what I've seen so far, it's a bit boring and slow-paced. But that's fine. We'll make some good quality content on it anyway. But we are out of time today. Be sure to tune in for next episode to see how the German Empire grows. And until then, I'll see you later. Goodbye.